Coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell, author of 22 books, Marine Corps veteran, founder of the Second Amendment March, proud father of 7, grandfather to 20 and counting, and as a special bonus, I'm also madly in love with my own wife. My priorities in life are God, family, and country in that order, and I hereby promise to never compromise in my convictions. I may go broke, but I'll never go woke. But before we get too far into the show, let's thank our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, Centershot Indoor Gun Range, and Trinity Training and Security. All right, and joining me today on the Home Defense Show is the great white hunter, Fred Mastison from the great state of Arizona.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I made it through almost, the whole winter with hardly any sickness or cold, and I woke up yesterday morning and I had a cold, and this is springtime. That's just morally wrong.
It is. Yeah, there should be a law against that. Just saying.
Well, there's no sickness in Arizona, right? Because there's no cold.
Well, I wish that was the case. We have some of the greatest cases of GAC I've ever seen in my life.
Ah, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I used to play this game on my cell phone. I think it was called Plague. And it was really kind of warped and twisted, but I really enjoyed it. Well, basically, the premise was you destroy the entire planet. In order to win the game, you have to kill every human on the planet with
Wow.
some kind of a deadly plague or virus or something like that. So I learned a lot about, pandemic by playing that game on my cell phone, and that tells you a little bit about my personality, I guess. Well, anyways, I'm glad that you're healthy, and I'm sure this will only last a few days. Um, Before we get too far, go ahead and just give us a 30-second bio. What do you do for a living there, Fred?
Well, I wear multiple hats. My primary role is I'm a field editor for Bleecker Street Publications, Athlon Outdoors. I truly enjoy that. I've been a freelance writer for a very long time and am on board with Bleecker Street and produce content for them. And it's a great bunch of people. So it's a pretty good life. I'm not gonna lie. I also teach. I teach every. You wonder what I teach farms wise? The answer is yes. I teach it all. I also do some martial arts instruction as well. Been at that for a while, but I lead a very diverse and enjoyable life.
Yeah. Well, I do the same thing. My life is very diverse as well. I mean, you're talking, firearms instruction and podcasting and, writing books. It keeps me from getting bored, and I really like it.
Well, I can certainly appreciate that. We don't lead boring lives. I tell
No,
people sometimes that I may whine occasionally about work, but I'll never complain.
yeah, well, when I start whining, I just tell my wife to slap me, and then everything's good.
Exactly.
Well, but you're going on a bear hunt here pretty soon. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. I'm headed up to northern Alberta, just on the edge of the Northern Territory. I did this hunt last year. It's a spring black bear hunt, so they're just coming out of hibernation. It's, I won't lie, it's the most enjoyable hunt I've ever been on. It is a bear-rich population, bear-rich area. In our days there, our group we saw, I think it was 52 bears in the time we were there. So it is a bear-rich environment. And honestly, like you, I've spent a lot of time in the backcountry, and I've seen a lot of bears. Not like these. These are some of the biggest black bears I've ever seen in my life, and I wasn't prepared for that. Our host was telling me about it. She kept saying, yeah, I don't think you understand, and you do that whole, oh yeah, okay, whatever, until you get there.
Yeah, well, I
So
know
it's
here in Michigan, Fred, there's quite a few black bears in the northern half of the Lower Peninsula, and then up in
yeah.
the Upper Peninsula as well. But a big black bear up there is more like 250, 300 pounds. What are they like in Alberta?
Well, the first bear I got was north of 400 pounds.
Yeah, it's
And like I
big.
said, they're just coming out of hibernation, so they're thin, real, quote
Mm.
unquote thin. My second bear was pushing 500 pounds, and I think he was 7'6". They're uh, they're big.
Yeah, he
They're
could have been
big.
in the NBA.
Yeah, and honestly, they weren't the biggest bears I saw. I had an opportunity at two other bears that came in. They were pursuing a sow, so they weren't interested in me at all and just trotted right through. I never had a good shot. I mean, I had a perfect rump shot, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
And it was ridiculous. I was trying everything I did to hey bear, please stop.
yeah.
Please stop. No, no, they wouldn't have it. Kept on running. So I've been visiting with the guide that I work with, and I'm like, you've got to get cameras up and find those bears for me, and I will live in those areas the entire time I'm there.
Ah, yeah, that's awesome. Um, I've never eaten bear meat. What would you compare it to, Fred?
Well, it is a very unique flavor. People in my experience, people either love it or they absolutely detest it. It's got almost a sweet taste to it in my experience.
Hmm.
And once again, as with all animals, it depends on where you get your bear. An ocean or a coastal bear is going to taste dramatically different than an inland bear. So the bears that we hunt are pretty much berries. They eat a lot of berries, a lot of vegetation. They tend to be pretty good. It's not on my top 10 list of meats,
Hmm.
but it's not bad.
Yeah. Well, with venison, you'll get, two camps, people who either really like it or really don't like it. The people
Yeah.
that don't like it, they say it has a gamey taste. I've never really found that to be true from my experience. Is it the same way with bear meat?
Yeah, just like venison too, so much of that flavor in a deer or in a bear really depends on how quickly you harvest it. If you're letting that deer be in the field for 12 hours,
Yeah,
and I'm not throwing rocks at bow hunters, but hey, we're going to back out and come back tomorrow afternoon and try to find it. That's a long time.
yeah,
So
especially
I
in the
like to
heat.
recover them as quickly as possible, get them gutted and skinned as quickly as I can, and get them cold. And that
Yeah.
really, really helps the flavor. I believe that's the case with all animals.
Well, yeah, I agree. A lot of people they'll go out and they'll shoot a deer and then, they'll let it lie for 12 hours before they go out and get it. Then they'll gut it out and then they drag it through the mud, maybe through a creek, and then up a hill and then they're upset when it doesn't taste like,
Yeah,
T-bone steak.
it is funny you say that because I've seen that. Like, oh, my deer tastes funny. Well, probably because you dragged it through the desert. I mean,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
dragged your, $40 a pound tomahawk ribeye through the street, it probably wouldn't taste good either.
Yeah, it probably tastes a little crunchy
Just a
with
little.
with sand. I've had that happen to me before. All right. Well, hey, we wish you the best on your hunt. And
Thank you.
when you come back, you're going in about 2 weeks, right?
That's correct. I leave the third week of May.
All right. Well, we'll give you a month or two to let that ruminate. But when you get back, I want to have you on again so you can tell us the exciting air story of the year, okay?
I'd love to.
All righty. But for right now, let's talk about something more relative to personal defense, home defense. Basically, people are always looking for the perfect everyday carry gun. So one of the things I like to ask my regular contributors is, what is the everyday carry gun that you carry now? And then compare that to, what you used to carry. And, you're older like I am. I'm 68. And it's like I'm not carrying the same gun now that I was, 20, 30 years ago. Tell us about the perfect carry gun and the evolution, so to speak, of how you carry.
Well, since George Washington was a private, I carried a Glock 17. I carried a
Okay,
I
okay.
I I enjoy a full size gun. and it fit me well. I could shoot it extremely well, so I carried that 17 until it. I mean, just forever. The gun, yes, it has a great coating on it, but I guarantee you that you wear that gun 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you're going to get some finish wear on it.
Yeah.
And enjoyed that. And then I came across the several years ago, Mossberg, oddly, not oddly, because they started in handguns, but they had a semi-compact 9mm pistol, and I went up to Gunsight with Mossberg to do the pre-release on it, do some T&E on it, and I really liked that gun,
Hmm.
and I carried that for a long, long time. Well, now that Springfield has the Echelon, I've shot every version of the Echelon that's left the Springfield factory, and I really, really like that gun. So what they have now is a version that has the full-size slide, but essentially like a semi-compact frame. So I would equate it to a Glock 19 grip with a Glock
Hmm.
17 slide.
Hmm.
I really like that combination, and
Well,
that's been my go-to.
the Springfield Echelon, huh?
Yep.
Okay, I don't think I've ever shot one of those.
Yeah, I think you would really like it. So they did a really good job. What's nice about it, the trigger is really clean on it. There's no grip or grind on it. But what's really unique about it is that the fire control group, or I believe that they call it the COG, Central Operating Group, or forgive me if I don't remember the exact name of it, it's serialized inside. So you can pull that trigger unit out and put it into a different frame.
Hmm.
So
That's
if
good.
you want to go from essentially their complete full-size gun to a compact gun, instead of buying two guns, you just buy a frame. And that's
Oh,
kind of
wow.
been a little bit of a trend in the industry.
Yeah,
I
things are going
like that
modular more than they used to be.
very much so, and I like that idea because once again, if I want to change, honestly, I don't. I generally carry the same gun, but the market shows us that people do like doing that. They like that opportunity, they like the ability to pop back and forth between guns, and it's a pretty cool system. But beyond that, the gun functions really, really well. And what I
Yeah.
really like about it is they have the interface for the optic on it is really unique. So you know how it is. We get a gun and we got to get a plate, right? Oh, does this, and it doesn't
Mm.
quite fit perfectly right.
Yeah.
And you know that over 5 days of training with it, that optic's going to move. Well, they eliminated that. They have a pin system on the actual frame of the optic. I think it fits something like 30 or 40 different optics.
Hmm.
You just adjust the pins and it goes directly onto the slide. There's no wiggle, nothing. I really like that because I'm an optics nerd. I don't want my glass to move. I want it to maintain zero constantly,
Yeah.
and I don't tolerate when things work or move around. I will ditch something if things are moving around.
Well, you can find all kinds of problems with optics if you just go online and look. I mean, people when they screw the plate onto the slide, sometimes the screws are too long, and they talk about, oh, I had to file down the length of the screw that they
Yeah,
gave me. Uh,
if
and
you have to file down a screw in your on your desk, no, no, no.
yeah.
There's no reason for that. That's just ridiculous. And I'm not throwing stones at the industry, but come on, really, come on.
So, okay, so you're an optic guy, and I'm an optic guy too. Fred, I'm 68. How old are you now?
62.
All right. So when did you convert over to optics?
Well, about I'd say about 7 or 8 years ago, and I went kicking and screaming. I'm not gonna lie. I was the curmudgeon old iron sights kind of guy until that front sight wasn't as crisp as it used to be.
Yeah.
And I attended a class. Actually, it was a class for Trigicon that hosted it, and this gentleman really laid it out. And he was not he didn't preach, red dots. He would say, hey, here's the benefits. Here are the challenges you're going to face transitioning from iron sights to red dot. And he hit it on the head. And once he showed me how to solve my challenges, because like we've got what 8.5 million draw strokes on a gun with iron sights.
Yeah, yeah,
You put glass on it, things change.
yeah.
And your draw stroke's a little bit different, presentation's a little bit different. He walked me through that, and then in short order, I was running that red dot almost twice as fast as I could run my iron sights. And at that moment, I converted.
Hmm. Well,
I've got a suppressor and a red dot on everything. My toothbrush has a suppressor and a red dot. Yeah, I've got it on everything.
that's good. Well, be careful. Keep your finger off the trigger while you're brushing your teeth there, Fred. Uh, so do you like Trigicon? Is that what you run now?
Yeah, I run the RMR, the HD version of it. I run several Vortex red dots as well. I've had really good luck with them. They they they've really, I won't say stepped up, but Vortex in the past, years and years and years ago, primarily hunting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, because they have that warranty, people said, "Well, you're going to have to use the warranty." I've never had to use a warranty,
Hmm.
and I'm hard. I'm hard on them. I'm not a torture test guy. I'm not going to try to destroy something. There's no giggle to that. But I use it. I use it hard, and
Yeah.
I've never had a vortex optic fail. Now somebody out there is going to, sure, I'm sure they have. Glass eventually will fail. I've seen Trigicon fail. I mean, it is still a piece of electronic equipment that is susceptible to gravity. I mean, it's eventually going to happen. But my experience has been that the vortex optics have done well. In fact, my bear hunt on that 300 PRC I'm going to be running, I have a piece of vortex on it, and
I
then the other rifle I have a Trigicon.
yeah. Well, I have a vortex on my crossbow.
Yeah,
Um, and I like that. I mean, that's a really nice sight. I have a pistol optic, a vortex, a green dot. I've got that on a Ruger 5.7. Um, and it's really odd because I have astigmatism, which makes it a little more challenging with an optic with a red dot.
yeah,
Simply because it's like, you might look through it and see a perfect round circle. I look at it and I see the Star of Bethlehem,
yep.
you know. But I've noticed with the Trigicon RMR, I have two of those. It's more of a round circle and less of a star. And that's important to me because it helps me be more precise in my aiming.
Understandably so. That's a very good point. And the optics, not all optics are made the same.
Yeah.
Even what I consider high quality optics, and it's not really a matter of this one's better quality than that one. It's just the way that they're made. Sometimes the size of the dot or whatever math is involved, sometimes there's a difference.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to test drive glass before they buy.
Yeah. I think you've already hit on the biggest stumbling block for people. It's like a giant road bump, right?
Yeah.
Um, People who have been shooting irons sights their whole life, they drive out and they don't see the dot, and
Yep.
they panic, they freak out, and then they just set it down and say, no, no, I can't, depend my life on this thing if I can't even see the sights. But there's an investment a time investment that goes in. And I think what people don't understand is that with iron sights, you don't have a perfect draw stroke with iron sights either.
No,
You drive out, and what do? You align the sights. The only difference is when you drive out with a red dot, if you don't have the same draw stroke every time, that dot's going to be in a different spot, and that messes people up sometimes.
that's exactly right. And you hit it on the head. The investment in time and training is worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Just as you took time to learn how to shoot with iron sights, if you take the time to learn to shoot with a red dot, it is time well spent, in my opinion.
yeah. It's just harder for old geezers.
Well, we're a little stuck in our ways. There's more
Yeah,
of that than there
that's
is anything
right.
else. And I'm saying that from experience.
Well, the benefit that I see in it, especially for someone more seasoned, like myself, I have older eyes and my eyes don't see as well as they used to, especially in low light conditions and in
Yeah.
long distance work. Those are the two situations where, man, that the red dot, it just really shines on distance work and in low light conditions because, man, that front sight just gets fuzzy at dusk and at longer distance.
Yeah, that's my experience as well. It's just not as clear as it used to be, and I'm not really sure why.
Yeah. Well, my very first car um, that I owned was a 1968 Dodge Charger, right? And I noticed that as the car aged, it wasn't as fast as it used to be.
Well said.
Yeah, and it's like if I were a vehicle, well, I was born in 1957, so I guess I'd be a 57 Chevy, but a 57 Chevy in 1957 was a really nice car. Now that it's 68 years old,
Yep,
needs more tune-ups, needs more work, and hey, eyesight is the same way.
that's absolutely true. Still a classic, though.
That's
I'll
right.
I'll stick with that.
It's still a classic. All right, so describe the perfect everyday carry gun. And it doesn't even have to exist yet. In your mind, if you could make a gun that was the perfect carry gun, what criteria would you use?
Well, let's start with caliber.
Okay.
I'm a huge proponent of 9 millimeter. Back in the day, 9 millimeter had its issues. We all know that.
Yeah.
Those issues have been solved. They just don't exist anymore. It is a for personal protection, and there'll be somebody scream and argue with me. It is a superior round. And I know the 45 because they don't make a 46. I get that. So I'd put it in 9 millimeter. Additionally, with that, because it gives us additional capacity. Capacity wise, I like a 15 round plus gun because you never know what you're running into. Statistics show us that it's rarely going to be a 15 round fight, but that's also why we have insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Size wise, I'm a pretty big proponent of a full size gun or a compact gun. And I say that because, and kind of it goes away a little bit when we start talking about the use of red dots, but the longer sight radius is really nice to have. If you're shooting, especially if you're shooting iron sights, the longer sight radius is really important.
Hmm.
Beyond that, I would probably go to the trigger. Probably nothing. I will go to the trigger, and that the trigger needs to break um, probably in the 4 to 5 pound range.
Hmm.
The reason I say that because stress is stress. When the cockeye hits the fan, we want to make sure that that trigger isn't too light. But something in the 10 pound range is ridiculous. You have to spend an incredible amount of time in order to truly master a super heavy trigger. Because what you're going to get is just you're going to get crunching the muzzle down as that trigger goes down. So I like that 4 to 5 pound break. Nice short reset. I'm a striker fired guy. Um, I like a simple operation. I prefer a non-exposed hammer, no external safeties. I just like that system. And yes, there are safeties on the gun. You know that, and I know that. But some people, there's no safety on the gun. Yeah, there is. It's on the trigger, but it still
Yeah.
exists.
Well, here's the interesting thing. You and I can have you on the show 20 years from now if we're both still alive and kicking.
I will
And
be.
well, and I can ask you, okay, describe the perfect everyday carry gun. You might have a totally different story
True.
in 20 years than you do today. And not just because we're older and weaker and, whatever, but also because technology is going to change as well.
Exactly right. I mean, 20 years ago, 9 millimeter wasn't the flavor of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, remember, we all remember 40.
Yes.
And now, now you can buy it for buy by the case for $1. It was the flavor of the day, and now it's not. And it worked well. I trained law enforcement for a long time. Every agency I had worked with used a Glock 22, in Chamberlain and 40 Smith and Wesson. So I used that gun. In training, I would run that gun and shot it well. Not as well as I did the 17 and 9 millimeter, but it was very reliable. And like you said, in time, technologies change. There are advancements, and we have to adapt to the environment.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I have a Glock Model 22. I've had it for over 20 years. I never really liked it because I'm a warm, sensitive guy, right?
Yeah,
I don't like recoil at
it's a
all.
snappy little monster, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Um, and I have a Glock 17. This is a custom Glock 17. It's got a, compensator on it, the special grip that's been handmade, aftermarket trigger, match grade slide, match grade barrel, all this stuff. And I really like it. It's got a Trijicon RMR red dot sight on it. It's a good gun. It's very accurate. It's, a little on the large side because, it has the compensator that adds an inch to the length on it. But it's a really beautiful gun and I like it and I shoot it well. Right now, though, I'm experimenting with a different gun, and a lot of people don't like me saying anything positive about this gun, but so far I like it, and that's the Kel-Tec PR-57. Well, at 5.7 millimeter, I've always been fascinated with that cartridge, studying all, the penetration testing and, the velocity and all of that. And I always, I've had the Ruger 57 for I don't know how many years since they first came out, right? But it's just huge.
It's
And
big.
it's really big, but I love it. But it's like, and I tried to carry it for a while, but for concealed carry, it's on the big side. And I always said, you know what? If someone ever comes out with a smaller, lighter version in a 5.7, I'm going to try it just to see if I can make it work. And that's what I'm going through right now. I have mixed results, but all in all, I like it pretty good so far.
Well, I'm a big believer in shoot the gun that you have faith in and that you can shoot well. That's why I don't tell people buy a Glock or buy a SIG, or I just don't. I,
Yeah.
I don't think there is any one perfect gun. I think there's the best gun for you. And if you can shoot that gun extremely well, it serves your needs and you're accurate, then how can you argue with that?
Well, see, the thing is, what I tell my students when I'm talking about this topic, I'll say, look around the room. I say, you notice that everyone has a different shape, a different size. You have different size hands. You have different personalities. We're all different, and that's why there's 5 million different makes and models of guns because not there is not one size fits all
That's
when it
exactly
comes to a
right.
personal firearm.
That's exactly right. So a really good friend of mine, Karen Hunter, she's a firearms instructor, a contributor, a longtime writer as well. And she and I got into discussion, and I'm passionate about it, but you have no idea how passionate she is about this idea of guns for women.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to hurt some feelings here, but that is utterly ridiculous. The idea that a gun is specifically for a woman, somebody needs to give me a puppet show and in very small words tell me how that works, because all it comes down to is hand size
Yeah.
and ability to manage a recoil or run the gun. I know some women that are twice the size of some men that I know. They've got bigger hands, and the idea that you'd put some little micro revolver in her hands is ridiculous.
Yep. I
Is
think,
absolutely ridiculous. So regardless of man or woman, I tell them that don't buy. You can buy a quote unquote women's gun if it fits you, if it's something that you want. But to say that a gun is specifically for a woman Oh my gosh. You want to see the curmudgeon side of me come out. That will do it.
Well, I think what's happening there is the marketing guys are getting involved there, and they say, "Oh, wow, 52% of the population are women. We need to tap into that market, so let's develop a gun specifically for women."
I agree completely.
And you get in a gunfight, that doesn't work, you know.
Yeah. All of a sudden you realize, hey, this is still just a gun.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, hey, Fred, we're about out of time for this show, but before you go, tell people where they can go to read the work that you do and maybe do some training with you.
Outstanding. Well, you can read all of my work on Alpine Outdoors. That's what they do is they have essentially it's a launch pad for all of our sites. So I write for all the titles, and you can find all the work there. It's good, even stuff beyond what I write. That sounds silly to say, but just read my stuff. I'm not saying that because there's some fantastic writers on there. It's a good site. So athlonoutdoors.com is a great place to go. Personally, you can find me on social media. So Fred Mastison or Force Options USA, you can find me on there. Then of course our website is forceoptionsusa.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, Fred, I wish you all the best of luck on your pending bear hunt, and thank you very much for being on the Home Defense Show today.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Okay, folks, that about wraps it up for this week's show. I've had a good time, and I hope you have too. Please don't forget to thank our sponsor, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range at centershotgunrange.com, shootingclasses.com to help you find the right trainer for your needs, and United States Concealed Carry Association. For all your self-defense needs, go to uscca.com. All right, I've written 20 plus books and all available on Amazon.com in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This week, check out my suspense thriller novel, Stalking Natalie. I think you'll like it. And if you want training from me in person, then check out Midwest Tactical Training at shootingclasses.com. Please join us again next week for all your home defense needs. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Hey there. Yeah, you. It's time to level up your skills. Check out shootingclasses.com and explore a wide range of training options. With more than 50 types of classes to choose from, beginner to advanced, concealed carry to medical training, online sessions, and even non-live fire courses, there's something for everyone. Just enter your zip code, use the filters to narrow your search, and find the perfect class for you. This site has all the details: instructor bios, class info, requirements, available dates, and the option to register, all in one place. It's that simple at shootingclasses.com.
In today's world, safety and preparedness are more important than ever. At Trinity Training and Security, we offer comprehensive training for your peace of mind. Whether you're obtaining your concealed pistol license, mastering CPR and first aid, or engaging in scenario-based training, we've got you covered. We look forward to working with you in one of our classes or bringing the class to your church, school, or business. Need security for an event? Protecting your assets? Our team provides private security, close protection, media crew escorts, high security terminations, and more. Always with discretion and professionalism. With Trinity, safety is more than a service. It's a commitment.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me, and I'd like to help you do those things. avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.